Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing the Bowers & Wilkins 703 S3 floor standing speakers. These stunning speakers need no introduction as far as their performance. Their global reviews speak about absolutely everything you would expect. They feature the separate tweeter and a completely reworked mid-range driver that the whole new series offers, working more like perhaps a drum skin than a traditional drive unit with a traditional annulus and surround. The results are absolutely stunning, a big lift over the 600 series. In fact, look, here's the unboxing video of one of the first, the bookshelves. You'll see, of course, as we drill into these, the independently suspended tweeter that sits with its extruded casework. You'll see a completely sealed box associated with the mid-range and other things along those lines. They're utterly brilliant. Now, the speakers themselves, as always, are shipped in individual boxes, so we're going to leave that one there and concentrate on this one. There's a lot of accessories and some assembling that will be required. That won't be done in the video, but please hang around for the photographs at the end, and with that you'll see exactly step by step the assembly required to put the feet on and things along those lines. Nevertheless, on the top of the box is the basic line drawing associated with the unboxing instructions, and you need to be extremely careful with these because of the nature of the raised tweeter. The completely independent tweeter leaves them a little bit vulnerable during the unboxing stage, so please be very, very careful. Nevertheless, wonderful frequency response. They weigh 28 kilos sort of each, so there will be some huffing and puffing by the end of this video. Right, okay, boxes, nice and simple. Line drawing associated with the speaker themselves, the 703 S3 from Bowers & Wilkins, scannable information associated with both the model and serial number on the top, on the top corner, the very top of the box, and then it's emulated again here. Opening them is pretty straightforward. They're taped closed with a sort of fabric reinforced tape, so there's a little bit more involved than traditional packing tape. They're also stapled, so as always you should be a little bit careful when you're dealing with a speaker that has staples in them, and as I always recommend, the first thing you do is you pause and you deal with those staples first before moving on. There's there's a potential, I guess, of injuring yourself during the unboxing process if you leave the potentially sharp staples in place. But the main thing is you never ever want to inadvertently have the staples scratch your new investment. So spend a moment, just a moment, pulling out those staples, and then you know that they will not affect things in the future. Okay. Rolling it forward for a second so we can see. The very top contains a very, very comprehensive instruction and setup guide associated with the speakers, placement, everything associated with the bridging clips, the binding posts, recommendations of cabling. It's extremely well thought out, excellent to see. We then see some of the accessories, and again hang around for the close-up photographs. This is the spikes and then the alternates, which are the sort of soft rubber feet for a hardwood floor or tiles. Drilling down further, we've got all the hardware associated with the bolts, taps and an Allen key for the plinth. And then we've got a dual port. To manage bass response and perhaps how you would expect that bass in the room, B&W supply a port wad, and with that there's an insert that you can remove and actually offer a half or full management of the airflow in that speaker. Okay, now from there, with the small accessories removed, you remove the polystyrene and you start drilling in and grabbing things like the grill. Now the grill itself is just sitting off to one side and is held in place by the polystyrene. The grille has the curves associated with the speakers as you would expect, giving it a delineation of top and bottom. And then we've got down to the side, and in fact I'm just tilt it forward so you can kind of see it's just down to the side. You see the remainder of the accessories. Now this is quite heavy and you will see pretty quickly why. Cutting this open, there's a cardboard wrap allowing us to take this apart. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And we're rid of the cardboard. And this is the bottom plate, the foot basically of the speaker. Very, very straightforward to remove the protective covering. And we see the base plate. Now, the junior models, the 600 series, have an arrow indicating which way this needs to go. This one has a curve and, of course, the Bowers & Wilkins logo at the front, so it's pretty obvious which way it needs to go round. Right. Now, there are some cardboard corners. They've done their job. Remove those. Obviously, there's 4 of them, and it's good to see that they've added that attention to detail. Then, the best recommendation is, again, you identify the same top polystyrene and you place it back over the speaker. Because at this point, we're going to roll it over and put it onto its head for the next step. Now, as I roll this over, and then very carefully lift the box off of the speaker, okay, with its polystyrene left in it, you can see why it was really, really important to pause and get all the accessories out first. Now that it's up this way, and again the tweeter is now protected and supported by the polystyrene at the floor, we see the oversized bag, and opening that part is a simple enough nick and a wee tear of the sellotape. Now, tilting this backwards just for a moment, you'll see again an emulation of the Bowers & Wilkins 703 S3 and the first example of the rosewood finish and the binding posts. But again, we're not going to fit the accessories right now, we're just going to concentrate on the speaker. Again, hang around for the photographs towards the end for the step-by-step guide of the assembly of the speaker. Now that, of course, the plinth would be on, curved at the front, B&W, bolts, spikes, but we're going to roll this over very carefully. We'll bring that carefully back into frame, and then we'll start talking about the speaker itself. Right, so off comes the polystyrene, very carefully off comes the bag, and we get to see this magnificent, magnificent speaker for the first time. The first and most obvious change in the 700 series over the 600 is the completely independent tweeter. Now this does 2 massive things. Firstly, it moves its operation away from the cabinet and the mid-range driver, and potentially the vibration and pressure change associated with it. The tweeter is a inch dome tweeter, and as we can see, the extrusion and support is absolutely brilliant as far as its offering. It's this tube design with the dampening all the way along it that is the signature associated with this tweeter. It's very well protected, and it has the B&W logo front and centre. That design continues both with a curved front to ensure that it's managing the direct slap of frequencies off the cabinet, and then the rings and inserts associated with the drive units themselves. As I alluded to, the mid-range has been extremely well thought out, and if we look at the iconic historical yellow drive units that B&W were associated with, to replace them with a silver one is almost like changing the colour of a Coke can. Well, B&W themselves have only done that because of the huge performance improvement with the materials they are now using. And again, this moves kind of like a drum skin. So the annulus is very stiff compared with a traditional drive unit that allows for free movement. This is relatively stiff and sees the the voice coil move the driver in a very unique way. The end result is some wonderful accuracy in the mid-range, and it's nothing short of perfect as far as its performance. The style of the silver trim and things continues along. 6-inch mid-range driver with two 6.5-inch bass drivers. Okay, now the bass drivers. This adds to the frequency range and response of the speaker itself. So the frequency range is down to about 30 Hertz and up to about 35 kilohertz, that is. Its response is a little bit different though, which is its measurement in a dynamic environment, which is about 46 Hertz and up to about 24 kilohertz. It's worth noting that although these are 8 ohm speakers, like many in this category, their impedance can dip and it will go down to 3-ish ohms at times. So amplification matching is really, really important with a speaker of this credibility and quality. It's not just about the wattage, it's about the current that can be delivered. So these very traditional large heavy amplifiers, physically heavy, are often ones to seek out to partner with the speakers. Now from a speaker driver perspective, no expense spared as far as the technology. They're about 90 dB efficient, so again right on the money as far as that midpoint where not too efficient, where we see issues with resolving driver performance, but not too inefficient that it soaks too much energy from the amplification itself. Nevertheless, again, the style is absolutely beautiful, curved front. You'll see the side of the speaker, beautiful cabinetry work in these this rosewood finish. It's at the back we see some of the other things associated with it. Now, of course, a bit boring until you see the port, and that's where the port wad comes in as far as management. But they've also used a dappling to ensure that the port itself is helping to diffuse the energy and pressure that can change associated with the air in and out of a cabinet. They've done a wonderful job. Then we see the almost signature binding posts from the B&W range. We see a steel base plate, clearly labelled negative and positive in pairs, and they're black and red associated with them. There's a ring that stays permanently to ensure that it acts as not only insulation for the binding post to the steel plate, but also a ring of colour for its implied positive and negative. You can remove the caps and allow for a banana plug very, very easily. You simply take the nut all the way off and then wiggle the little plastic cap and discard it. Most New Zealanders will probably use banana plugs, so it's nice that that's quite a straightforward process. The removal of the bridging clip is also very straightforward for the purposes of by wiring or perhaps by amping. So there we have it. B&W's stunning floor standing speaker, their 703 S3, unboxed here at the listening post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.